Karen, if you would like to start the session.
Sorry? You can start, Karen. Your video on.
Any consultation.
You can start your live.
Hi, I'm Karine Leopold, Communication Officer for our project at the Territorial Collectivity of French Guiana. We are very glad to welcome you to our session entitled Excellence and Innovation Capacity of the European Outermost Regions. How Outermost Regions organize to capitalize their assets, focus on the Forward project. To begin this session, let me introduce to you the Forward team, Mr. Francisco Filguera, the Forward Project Coordinator, who will present the project and its challenges. Then I invite you to discover our 2 promotional videos introducing Forwards. And then we will continue with the presentation of Mrs. Evelyn Tarnus, Research and Innovation Manager at Nexa, who will present the results of the Outermost Regions Research and Innovation Ecosystem Diagnostic. Further to the diagnostic, ORs joined in thematic working groups to consolidate their common interest and design action plans. Lucia Gobaro Delgado, Head of Section at Innovation Department, Canary Islands Institute of Technology, will introduce how we co-create these groups with the researchers and innovators. Indeed, we think that the Outermost regions have strong interest to join their forces because Tropical Europe is an opportunity to expand the challenges of excellence in innovation and research. Then I will give the floor to Marc Sagne, Director of the Innovation, Research and Digital Development Department at the Territorial Collectivity of French Guiana. Mr. Sagne will give us a selection of the major research issues in the tropics. And then we will end with Sarah Dermani's presentation, Assistant Professor in Computer Sciences, University of French Guiana. She will give an example of innovation capacity in energy transition of a European Outermost regions, the case of French Guiana. And then we will move to the questions and answers part. Before starting, just some few practical information. This session will have English-French interpretation. Click on the button to select your language, just in the bottom of your screen, the button name interpretation. Please, I ask you to keep your micro and video off during the presentation. I kindly ask you to state your name, organization, and where you are joining from when submitting a question. I remind you that you can submit comments to all panelists and attendees in the drop-down box, as it automatically defaults to all panelists in Zoom. So now I give the floor to Mr. Francisco Javier Filguera, the Forward Project Coordinator.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm going to turn on my camera because I can. Okay. Let me share my screen. Well, thank you to, first of all, I would like to thank you the organization of this island, virtual island summit for giving us the opportunity to share our project, the Forward project. as Karim mentioned, is a common project for all the outermost regions in Europe. And as you know, the 9 outermost regions, 8 are islands, and only the Guyana is a mainland territory. So we are in the right place to share our vision and our ambitions for the R&D and innovations in this virtual summit. So just to start with my presentation, I would like to introduce my organization because I'm belonging to the regional directorate of the ACICI, is the Canary Islands Agency for Research, Innovation and Society Information, that belongs to the Regional Council of the Economy, Knowledge and Employment. So we are directly part of the regional government of the Canary Islands, and we are the body in the regional ecosystem that is taking care of the policies for R&D and I, and also the agency who is taking care of the implementation and elaboration of our RIS3 strategy and S4, the next smart specialization strategy for the near future. So on this framework, the main objectives of our directive center is try to promote and consolidate the economic growth of the islands, trying to improve the job creation and changing the economic model through the implementation of the R&D and I policies in an active way. Okay, from as a common vision from the different partners in the groups, we are sharing different weaknesses and also some strengths. Okay, since our economy model depends on a few specific sectors, such as tourists or primary sectors. So the utilization of the R&D and I as a tool for the to change this economic model is for us one of our goals. On this regard, the agency really has 3 main legs. One is to try to promote the regulatory framework for R&D and I policies. The second one, the financial framework, since we are the center who receive the funds from national, but also from Europe, to launch different calls and promote the RD&I between in all our R&D ecosystems. It means that we are launching calls for companies, but also for academy or R&D centers to try to improve their research and their innovation systems with this funding. Additionally, we have a third leg that is the internationalization of our ecosystem. And on this regard, the agency is taking part of directly as a partner in different projects, in the EU projects or national projects, but also we are promoting the actions and the activities that our R&D ecosystems is performing here in trying to improve and to open networking, a higher networking with all of our R&D centers. On this framework, we are talking about the Forward project today. That is one of the projects we are taking part. And in this case, as Karim mentioned, I'm the coordinator actually. Just to put some words about what is Forward. Forward was a collaborative project funding from the A2020 program, the previous program, where taking in consideration the different weaknesses that are common for all the groups in the EU regions, such as remoteness, insularity, the small size, and this limited number of sectors that are giving us our GDP and the major source of labor. For example, as I mentioned before, the primary sector and tourism, basically, this limitations by the end are transferred also to our R&D ecosystem. This means that our R&D system usually is not taking part as another regions in Europe in the different calls, or they have limitations to this networking because our isolation, right? So on taking consideration of these limitations, the commissions in 2019 launched a specific call for our regions, and we organized this consortia, and from the 5 proposals who were presented, we were the selected one to try to promote this higher participation in the international calls. Just to give some numbers about Forward, as I mentioned, we are 24 partners from the 9 Outermost regions. We are representing probably all of the top R&D centers and academy in the whole Outermost regions. So I think we are very well represented, all the capacities we have for R&D and innovation. This is a 3.3 years project that, due to the consequences of the COVID situation, was extended for 6 months more. So we start in 2019, and we are going to finish in the middle 2022. We have a 4.2 million euros budget, and the main objectives by the end of Forward is try to improve the excellence in research of our ecosystem, but also improve our participation in R&D competitive calls in EU or international calls. That is a way to improve our territorial development, the diversification of our economy. Forward is divided in 9 work packages. The first one is the work package 1 for management and coordination. I'm not going to explain in detail all of them, since my colleagues from La Reunion, from the Canary Islands, or from Guyana are going to explain more in detail every work package that we are going to show you today. But I would like to just to focus on one of the work package that we are also leading, that is work package 5, where the Canary Islands is trying to promote the networking activities. And I understand that this is the right forum to improve our networking with another island that probably are sharing similar problems and also similar strengths that we have in the outermost regions of Europe. So I would like to have this chance to invite you to know our platform in the website, where you can know more about the project. After the presentations of my colleagues today, probably you are going to have some more interest on what we are doing and how we can organize some kind of collaboration with other islands. And we are full open to new members to join to our consortia, since by the end, what we are trying to do is diversify and utilize our knowledge, our capacities to be more strong and to be more competitive around the world. So from my side, I think just to say thank you to the organization again. Thank you to Karin and Mark, that are our dissemination and communication team, for this effort to bring us here today to this very intense summit. And I hope to be very useful for all the consortia and for all of us. Thank you very much. And I will be here if you have any question about our project. Okay, thank you very much.
is the first project that involves 9 European outermost regions, built as a consortium: Azores, Madeira, Canary Island, Saint Martin, Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Guiana, Mayotte, and Reunion. The main objective is to improve our excellence in research and innovation to increase our participation in European programs. Forward defined 8 thematic working groups: health, applied medical technologies, diagnostics and therapies, social sciences and social innovation, earth systems, space and universe sciences, information and communications technology, climate change and energy transition, agriculture, applied life sciences, biotechnology and biosystems engineering, biodiversity, conservation and restoration, marine sciences and technologies. With a budget of €4 million funded 100% by the European Union, Forward fosters mobilities, meetings, and mutual learning events, but also aims to bring research and policymakers closer to recognize outermost regions' singularities. Forward finances common training programs for our research and innovation actors, writing proposals, European Framework Program management, and financial aspects. Forward improves outermost regions' visibility through communication activities. Forward is a positive light on our excellence potential. We built a joint strategy with the ambition to transform our regions towards a knowledge and innovation-based economy, developing distinctive expertises and connecting with European, third countries, international research and innovation networks. Forward Project is a precursor for innovative solutions in isolated territories, facing global challenges such as climate change, energy, and digital transition. As resilience lands, biodiversity and exceptional location make our regions living labs and the best bridge between ecology and green economy. Join us on Forward's website and social media.
We can't hear you, Corinne.
Yes, so we've just seen our first video about key aspects of Forward project, and now we will see the second video with some examples of infrastructures and research projects carried out in outermost regions.
The outermost regions are highly singular territories. Azores, Madeira, Canary Islands, Saint Martin, Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Guiana, Mayotte, and Reunion are gathered into a European project called Forward. Our 9 territories have excellent research and innovation infrastructures in various domains. Thanks to these assets, we can go forward and increase our participation in European Union-funded projects. In Azores, Nonagon is a catalyst of the processes of technological transfer. It enables synergies between private, public, and academic sector, leading a new paradigm of development for the innovation ecosystem of the Azores. In Martinique, the Volcanological and Seismological Observatory permanently observes Mount Pelée and monitors activities abroad. It is involved in the implementation of the warning systems for tsunamis and other coastal hazards. In Reunion, the Mido Atmospheric Observatory aims to better understand interactions between atmosphere and the Earth's surface, including its emissions. For instance, LiDARs, spectrometers, in-situ analyzers are used for national and international collaborations. The Spanish Bank of Algae in the Canary Islands identifies and preserves microalgae for agriculture, pharmaceutical, nutraceutical. The Rebecca Platform project consolidates a network of excellence in the biodiversity of microalgae between Macaronesia and Northeast Africa. Biostratège is a French Guyanese consultancy firm for research, development, and technological innovation. It brings out the bioactive molecules in plants obtained from Amazonian biodiversity extracts intended for the cosmetics market and many other bioproducts. This places French Guiana among future international leaders. The Ocean Observatory of Madeira is dedicated to permanent monitoring of marine biodiversity. This future center of excellence brings together a multidisciplinary scientific community into a platform including historical data and forecasts. In St. Martin, the construction of the Caribbean Institute of Insular Biodiversity involves a cluster of researchers promoting eco-responsible tourism. A joint approach to preserve coral reefs, mangroves, lake areas, and forests suitable for numerous species protected throughout the world. Guadeloupe has set up the Malin project to generate knowledge on diseases in the territory. With a high-output diagnostic platform processing a large number of samples in a short amount of time and an automated system allowing the extraction of DNA and RNA from animals. The Mayotte Data Center project will offer a high level of security called Tier 3 without impacting the servers. This unprecedented level of maintenance operations made possible in the region will contribute to its attractiveness. The outermost regions play a strategic role for a knowledge-based Europe. The Forward project allows to optimize our excellent potential in research and innovation ecosystems. The need for less dependence on the mainland, the opportunity for a dematerialized economy has been accelerated by the COVID crisis. This remoteness will now give way to a new economic model to face global challenges. Join us on Forward's website and social media.
Hope you appreciate the videos showcasing OR's potential and how to capitalize this potential. Throughout enabled to carry out diagnostic of the outermost regions research and innovation ecosystem. Now I give the floor to Evan Tarnus, Research and Innovation Manager, for the presentation of the results of the diagnostic led by Nexa.
Thank you, Karine. I would like to put my video on. It's saying that it's not possible from my side. I need an intervention from the team. Okay, working. Thank you, Karine. Thank you. Good morning, afternoon, evening, maybe, dear islanders. My name is Eveline Tarnus, and I am from Nexa, the Regional Agency for Development and Innovation of La Réunion. I was born in La Réunion, and I'm very happy to be here to discuss island issues and island public policies. I would like to share my screen. So here we are, sharing the screen. And sorry, it was at the end. Okay. So La Réunion is an island located in the southwest of the Indian Ocean, as you can see in the map. And the island was born 3 million years ago. I'd like to share with you that 1/3 of our island is covered with a native ecosystem, 1/3. La Réunion indeed remained unpopulated until the 17th century. But now we should reach 1 million inhabitants in the next 15 years. The economy of La Réunion has been shaped by its integration in the French Republic as an overseas department and in the European Union as an outermost region. This started a deep modernization policy designed to accelerate the convergence towards the European standards. And actually, in the last decades, the 9 outermost region have witnessed a great economic catch-up. But yet, this economic prosperity hides growing dependencies and vulnerabilities in the ecological, energy, economic, social, and cultural fields. Such vulnerability now question the very sustainability of catching up development model. And outermost regions are thus facing a huge challenge, which is to develop a model which preserves their ecological and human foundations for prosperity and the capacity to address local and future challenges. And to build this new model, the transition towards knowledge economy is really, really, really promising. Why? First, it offers the opportunity to mobilize our research and innovation resources to solve these challenges that we face as islanders. It allows us to face the international competition to develop activities with high added value, which can avoid the price competition. And last but not least, the knowledge economy is based on information, on immaterial goods. So it frees ourselves from the deterministic discourses. You know, outermost regions are suffered from what we call the handicap rhetoric. This rhetoric naturalizes our economic difficulties. We claim that we are too small, too isolated to be competitive. And thanks to the knowledge economy, OR can explore new paths, alternative to mass productions. However, the transition to knowledge economy intervenes in a peculiar global context. The combination of globalization and the agglomeration effects induced by the knowledge economy itself induces a critical concentration of resources in a limited number of global hubs. This process is well illustrated, as you can see here, by the map of the scientific publications. And so, considering our relative isolation, we believe that the key lever is the connection to international research and innovation networks. And in that respect, the framework programs for research and innovation, the so-called FP, represent a major opportunities for OR. This program indeed funds collaborative projects by international consortium working at the forefront of the research and innovation. However, this program is very, very competitive. And as regional authorities, we need to be strategic to support our regional stakeholders to compete. In such situation, the lack of precise diagnostic is limiting the effectiveness of our policies. So the Forward project gives us a great opportunity to explore the participation of OR. What is the actual performance of the outermost region in the framework program? How do they compare to the other European region? Are they isolated from the networks that dominate the scene? Do they face specific challenges? What are the similarities and the differences between the outermost regions? Do they share the same assets and the same weaknesses? This is the purpose of the diagnosis that we performed on the 9 outermost regions. And let me share with you some main results we found. Lesson 1. Contrary to popular belief, ORs are competitive players. We are involved in 121 projects under the program, the Framework Program 7, and we are actually involved in more than 200 Horizon 2020 projects for a total of 120 million euros. And second, again, contrary to the popular belief, there is room in the framework programs to develop projects on research and innovation thematics that are important for outermost regions. We do participate right now in projects dealing with social sciences, earth and universe sciences, marine science, energy, climate change. So we can go forward. And lesson 3, the participation of the outermost region is low and heterogeneous. And although we globally underperform, some regions present impressive results and can compete with many continental regions. Lesson 4, the traditional handicaps, geographic, demographic, economic, attributed to OR do not hinder our participation. it doesn't hinder participation of regions sharing the same characteristic than ORs. Actually, 3 families of factors are very decisive when you do when you want to compete in the research and innovation scene at EU level. Public policies, which needs to better support the participation. We need to build strong strategies to connect the major European networks and the stakeholders' behavior. Notably, we need to work on their willingness to engage in this kind of projects. Based on these results, Forward Consortium decided to join their forces and to build a joint strategy relying on a common ambition. We want inclusive growth through the knowledge economy, a common vision. We want to achieve excellence in the OR research and innovation ecosystem, and a common mission. We need to foster political will and synergies between ORs. Also, each region elaborated a regional action plan with their stakeholders to increase strongly and in a sustainable way their participation in the framework program. For instance, in La Réunion, we have built thematic communities gathering academics, businesses, NGOs, and decision makers in our strategic fields to develop exportable knowledge and know-how and to integrate competitive networks at EU level. As a conclusion, I would like to recall the benefits to have a knowledge-based approach when doing public policies and the importance of fighting the symbolic barriers and the deterministic discourses, especially on so-called small islands. Thank you, everyone, for this moment. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I'm here to answer any question.
Thank you, Evelyne, for this very interesting presentation. So we will see in the next presentation how the four-round thematic working groups want to strengthen their participation in EU framework program. Now I give the floor to Lucia Dobaro Delgado, Head of Section at the Innovation Department, Canary Islands Institute of Technology. She will explain how we are built the thematic working group leading to 9 regional action plans.
Yeah. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello from the Canary Islands. I'm placed in Tenerife, and I'm going to introduce you one of the activities that has been very interesting in the Forward project that are related with the thematic working groups. Maybe you, as people coming from an island or a remote region, sometimes you don't know how to meet people with a similar approach, with a similar interest. And as Evelyn said, after doing all this work of identifying what are our needs, one of the conclusions also was that we need to network and we need to build to collaborate among us. So what I'm going to show you here, that is part of the Forward project, is also how to meet, how to network, and also how to co-create with these researchers and innovators that come from outermost regions. My name is Lucia Dobarro. I work for the Canary Island Institute of Technology, and we have been developing and leading the development of this part with our colleagues from Guadalupe, from Synergy, to develop an action plan and several steps to launch all these groups. Well, I put here the structure of the project to see where we are. So we are the work package 3. This is very technical information that is not relevant at the end, but well, to put you in the context. And that are more or less the steps that we were following up to create the groups. And I will also let you know what is the current situation. There was already some questions in the question and answers before asking about if we work with agriculture, and it's one of the groups you will see. So how we identify and how we started to create these thematic working groups. The starting point was to know who we are and this diagnosis that was done in the 9 Outermost region. After this identification, we focus on what we have in common. So we took into account the regional strategy of each of the Outermost regions, how we are dealing with the European funds, what kind of projects are we working in, and on what fields are in common. And last but not least, because we started to work on that the last year, we had a big eye on what is coming for the Horizon Europe program, that is the program in Europe for funding research and innovation. So at the time of creating and naming these thematic working groups, we also took into account how this program was structured and the cluster, how they were structured. And we follow this more or less a similar structure on these 8 thematic working groups. I will go one by one, but we have one related with health, one related with social science, with Earth and universe, ICT, climate change and energy transition, agriculture, and other things related with biodiversity, marine science and technology. After that, because that was something new, these groups, researchers know people from the specific topic they work with, but sometimes you have more people or you can complement with other profiles. So the next step was to define a methodology on how to create this group. It was key to have a subcoordinator per thematic. This subcoordinator is a researcher with an international profile from an outermost region. In this way, all the partners from the Forward project started to identify and to propose some profiles, and that was selected by the steering committee of the project. So the subcoordinator is the chairperson and is a key person for launching the groups. Because this is a lot of work, and we knew, we also proposed to create a management structure. So the subcoordinator could have a deputy, somebody that is also from research field, somebody that is close to this person, and a facilitator. A facilitator is one of the members of the Forward project that helps in the management of the groups. And finally, what was decided is that because it was easier for managing, the facilitator comes from the same region as the subcoordinator. In parallel, we launched also a call for persons, for researchers, innovators from the regions to know who could be interested in each group. And well, we got a lot of expressions of interest. Here you have by thematic. Well, when you see the figures, you can see that Canary Islands have more application, but this is also normal because the ecosystem in our island is bigger in number of population, research, etc., than the other ORs. But in all the cases, we had a representative from all the 9 outermost regions, and that was important also to take care about this. So well, the time started. That was the last year. At the end of the last year, the subcoordinators were already selected, were trained. We had meetings together on how to launch these groups. And at the beginning of 2020 or beginning of this year, sorry, they kick off with the members and started to work together. The objective was to do during the first month of the year, to prepare and to co-create an action plan with their members. So to know who is who, to understand what is the starting position, in which projects they are good, and all of them have the same objectives. At the end, we are preparing 8 thematic action plans to improve the excellence in the outermost regions, to raise also participation in European projects, to link the research activities with the territorial development. We also have the aim to submit at least 1 or 2 proposals to Horizon Europe calls for projects, and also to do that sustainable in the time. For that, well, there are some online meetings, as you may suppose. Well, because of the COVID situation, everything was moved to virtual as this kind of conference, and we work also with collaborative spaces. Each group was autonomous to prepare their own thematic action plan. That well, there were some guidelines and templates on how to continue to do it. Here I'm going also to let you know who is who, about who are the subcoordinators, and also the the regions that are leading these groups, but at the end, it's a matter of collaboration among all the regions. So we have a group focused on health, applied medical technologies, diagnosis, and therapies that is managed from the University of La Laguna in the Canary Islands by Dr. Jacob Lorenzo Morales. He's director in the university, in the Institute of Tropical Disease. So part of the activities they are developing are focused on tropical disease and emerging disease. Then we have a second group that is focused on social science and social innovation. This is managed by from Reunion Island, and Professor Philippe Jean-Pierre is the chair. Well, there are several activities that are related with social. What is interesting also from social science is that can be transversal for all the 8 thematic working groups. By the way, I'm presenting the 8, but they are not silos. They meet, they collaborate among them, and they are also learning how they can do together. But well, initially the plan is 8 different plans. From Earth Science, Space, and Universe Science, it's managed from Azores. We have Engineer Pedro Silva from Earth Center, who is managing this. Here we have a mix of Earth observation and also universe observation and science on that. We have a group on information and communication technologies that is managed from the University of Antilles by Dr. Wilfred Secretiel. And then we have these other 4. One related with climate change and energy transition, managed from Madeira by Mr. Claudio Mantero, who is director of R&D in a transport company. We have one on agriculture, applied life science, biotechnology, and bioengineering. The chair is Jean-François Bambou, who is also based he works for the French National Research Institute for Agriculture, Food, and Environment. And there is a group on biodiversity, conservation and restoration, managed by Professor Paulo Borges from University of Azores. And finally, we have also the group of marine science and technologies that is managed by Dr. Ricardo Arun from the University of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. They are already working, they are meeting, they are doing things. They are, some of them are already focused on developing or identifying specific proposals. Some are more doing a roadmap on the future strategy. And all of them, they are open for cooperation and they are active. So here I want also to invite you to join or to have a look on the groups, because it's a possibility to meet some counterparts from the outermost regions in Europe and benefit from these networking sessions. We are going to be in a networking session later on, together with my colleague Jean-François Dorville from Guadeloupe, that is from Synergil. So you can meet us and exchange information if you want after the presentation, or also you can write us or check this link. And that was all I wanted to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucia, for this example of fruitful collaboration between experts and for the invitation to join the thematic working groups. Speaking about partnership, Mr. Mark Sai will speak about how to develop partnerships with the outermost regions, neighbors, giving some examples of common topic issues.
Bonjour à tous. Oui, bonjour à tous. Donc, ma présentation va aborder la question de l'Europe tropicale comme chance pour l'excellence de la recherche et de l'innovation. Les RUP représentent la particularité d'être l'Europe tropicale. De ce fait, cette position géographique offre à l'Union européenne de nouvelles perspectives de rayonnement tant sur le plan économique que scientifique et technologique. Les différentes thématiques de recherche, innovation concernées permettent de mobiliser à la fois des compétences de recherche-innovation, mais également permettent à l'Europe continentale de bénéficier de l'expertise de certains pays voisins, des RUP. C'est ainsi que des compétences ont pu être développées dans les domaines aussi divers que la santé tropicale. On peut constater que la diversité des RUP constitue une grande recherche pour l'Europe, une grande richesse pour l'Europe, excusez-moi. L'exemple emblématique de cette démarche concerne le programme caribéen sur les sargasses. Alors, en un mot, les sargasses, ce sont des algues envahissantes sur l'ensemble de l'arc caribéen, que ce soit les premières îles comme la Barbade et Trinidad, jusqu'au Mexique et toutes les îles, toutes les côtes américaines. Donc, c'est un problème important au niveau économique, touristique notamment, mais aussi pour la santé et l'environnement. Donc, ce programme est financé par l'Union européenne à travers le programme Interreg, lancé en 2011. Les volets du programme sont les suivants: la caractérisation des algues, l'étude de la dynamique des bancs, la collecte de ces algues, la valorisation, l'étude des impacts économiques et sanitaires, ainsi que les problèmes environnementaux posés par cet échouement. Ce programme regroupe toutes les îles de la Caraïbe, mais également le Mexique et les États-Unis. En effet, les compétences européennes en biologie marine, en océanographie, en imagerie satellitaire et en météorologie ont pu être mises à profit pour l'étude de la prolifération et du déplacement des bancs d'algues. Des innovations locales sont en cours pour la collecte et la valorisation de la biomasse. Dans le domaine de l'énergie, la géothermie en Guadeloupe et aux Açores, la production hydrolienne aux Canaries font office d'exemples mondiaux de technologies innovantes adaptées à ces territoires et reproductibles dans d'autres. Dans ce contexte, le programme Forward a permis aux RUP de mieux se connaître, de développer des échanges d'expériences et de bonnes pratiques dans un objectif d'excellence des écosystèmes innovation-recherche. L'enjeu est de pouvoir à la fois valoriser la puissance de la recherche-innovation européenne et la diversité du potentiel de développement des pays environnant chacun des RUP. Le défi des îles est de compenser leur atomisation géographique, leur faible superficie et leur population réduite par un travail en réseau performant entre les hommes et les institutions. Le cas de la Guyane est particulier, car contrairement aux autres RUP, ce territoire n'est pas une île. Sa superficie est importante, 84 000 km², avec de grands voisins continentaux comme le Brésil, le Suriname. Il bénéficie en outre d'une exceptionnelle biodiversité encore peu connue et largement sous-valorisée. La stratégie d'innovation-recherche basée sur la valorisation des ressources a donc tout son sens. L'Europe amazonienne, qu'est la Guyane, offre donc de grands enjeux de développement, d'innovation et de recherche sur la biodiversité. La Guyane est un laboratoire à ciel ouvert. Il n'en demeure pas moins que la méthodologie vers l'excellence des écosystèmes innovation-recherche reste d'actualité, même en Guyane. Pour finir, ce séminaire sera certainement l'occasion de nouvelles rencontres susceptibles de déboucher sur de nouveaux partenariats et permettra l'interconnexion de réseaux d'expertise tissés par Forward et Island Innovation. C'est l'objectif partagé par les deux instances. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Marcel, Director of the Innovation Research and Digital Development Department at the Territorial Electricity of French Guiana. Thank you for your presentation, highlighting that whereas as Tropical Europe offers new perspectives on several levels with innovative technologies adapted to their territories and replicable in others. This is the case, for example, in French Guiana. Now I give the floor for this last presentation to Sarah Zermani, Assistant Professor in Computer Sciences from the University of French Guiana. She will introduce the case of solar energy management with innovative technologies.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Karine. I will share my screen. Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah Zermani. I am an assistant professor in University of Vienna. I will tell you about our research in energy transition in French Guiana. For that, I will give a short introduction, and then I will talk about our research problematic and finish by a conclusion. As you know, 1 billion of humans are without electricity, but in the same time, electricity energy requirement increase, and we have to fight the climate change. For that, a lot of company and organization and association work hard to go to a green and clean energy. In our case, we have a big potential with solar energy, and in the same time, we have a non-interconnected territory with an objective of autonomy energy in 2030. And for that, we have to use and promote our local energy resource and focus on renewable energy. Our problematic research can be classed in 3 categories: the solar time series to help the install and control systems, the solar irradiance and production prediction to help the injection of photovoltaic energy into the networks, and the prediction operating data to anticipate and correct different faults. And our global objective is to have an intelligent management of solar photovoltaic energy in the intertropical zone. The first part I will talk you, it's about the production of local solar data, which is need to give reliable data and build historical database of solar irradiance. For that, we adapt the Heliosat algorithm, which is based on Meteosat satellite. But this solution don't perform in French Guiana. For that, we adapt this algorithm by changing the algorithm and also the satellite goes one. And here we have a very important and good solution, and we can give a good solution radiation mapping and time series. The second part is the prediction of solar irradiance, which means the need of short-term solar irradiance forecast from 1 to 6 hours at any point on the map in intertropical zone And our big challenges here is the very variable cloud covered we have to face to. And our all solutions are based on satellite data, numerical, statistical, and machine learning methods. The third part is the spatial temporal prediction of photovoltaic production, which meets the need of integrating solar energy into the energetic mix by ensuring the stability and electricity networks. These methods are based on satellite data, weather model, production history, and different artificial intelligence methods. The last part is the photovoltaic system faults. This helps us to have a reliability of system, availability, and security to predict, detect, and locate the different faults like open circuit, short circuit, PV dirty or broken. And our big challenge here is the difficult climate with humidity and heat. Our results are based on satellite data, real data, and simulate one, and different intelligence artificial models. To conclude, I will give you our partners. We work with EDF, Albioma, Voltalia for exchange different method, data, and also expertise and new technology. And our ambition is to be a support laboratory of the development for French Guiana. We developed some tools for the energy transition using intelligence artificial, different weather forecast model, and different satellite image to bring out our expertise to different companies in French Guiana and support different projects requiring local weather data. Thank you, and I'm happy to ask your question if you have.
Thank you, Sarah, for introducing this example of innovation capacity adapted to intertropical zone with a regional scope. Now, I would like to thank you all for your interesting presentations, and it's time for the question and answers. I see that you are joining from all over the world. So, there's a question. What are the common hurdles, difficulties currently faced by Outermost regions in organizing to capitalize their assets? Perhaps Javier or Evelyn can answer to this question. I can repeat the question if you want.
Hi, Karim. I was trying to answer different questions on the chat. I don't know if there is any that is remaining with no answer. Please, could you repeat the question because I didn't check it?
Okay, no problem. So, what are the common difficulties currently faced by Outermost regions in organizing to capitalize their assets?
Well, from my point of view, it's a question of probably the critical mass. Okay, so there is no enough companies that are investing on R&D. It's probably is one of the keys, because our GDP is based on a very limited number of sectors, and let's say the economy is comfortable in this situation when the things are going well. But now, for example, when the things are going not as well, with the COVID situation and the crisis we suffer with, for example, in the tourism in the Canary Islands, now we are trying to look for solutions on R&D, on innovation in a very short period of time. And this is not probably the right way to do it, because the societies which are much more utilizing resources or investing on R&D from the past are more resilient to the situation we are suffering. So this is something that we have to learn in the outermost regions and try to diversify in a different way. When the things are going well, invest in R&D, invest in another sectors, and for when the things are not going so well, we have a diversity of activities where we can base our economy in one side or in the other, depending on how it's going. I think it's one of the, what my vision, I don't know, probably Evelyn or in the other part of the world, or you in Guyana, you have another vision on how to do it. But from the Canary Islands, I think it's something that we already passed in the crisis of 2008, but we didn't learn about that. So now we are suffering probably the same consequence or even worse.
Okay.
Yes, Karine, just to add something with what
Yes.
just said by Javier, the common analysis we've drafted from the forward analysis is that we need to foster the political will to innovation. We need to make the research and innovation more mainstream in the political agenda, because we are here researchers and innovators and research and innovation practitioners, but we need the representatives, the elected one, to have this on their agenda too. So this is something we need to work on, all the 9 outermost regions.
Yes, okay. It's the same thing for French Guiana also. The second question, how COVID-19, disaster, resiliency, and climate change continue to influence, impacted, and innovate the outermost regions in its ongoing projects? Everybody can answer if you want.
I brought something in the chat about this, and well, one of the things that inside this project, the forward project, that was, we had the COVID pandemic and everything was stopped. No meetings, not face-to-face meetings, not networking. So a lot of the activities that we planned, we could not do it. But we took also advantage of that, and tools like this one. So having the opportunity to meet at the same time people from many places in different parts, and it's an opportunity. I know that it's not the same that the face-to-face, but on the other hand, I think we improve a lot the communication and the possibilities to learn from each other. We will see what will happen in the future, but it has been a challenge that, in my opinion, we are doing quite well.
Yes, with the COVID-19, we have to innovate more and more. So there is another question, perhaps for you, Lucia. What deeper role or capacity can outer regions contribute towards the global movement for outer space, industrialization, transportation, exploration, and communications? What deeper role or capacity can outermost regions contribute towards the global movement for outer space? Perhaps in the thematic working groups?
Javier, I think you answered this question, no?
Well, yes, I wrote something, but I think for the person who is interested on this specific topic or specific field of expertise, I suggest to try to contact with our thematic working group who is working on this matter, because probably over there are experts on this field that can give a better answer. I just to suggest our projects in the Canary Islands that are trying to promote a hub for aerospace here in Fuerteventura. This is another island. We are 8 islands, and it's in another island. And probably if this person is interested in contact them, for sure we can put in contact with this team. But I suggest to try to contact also with the thematic working group, or even to try to join to the thematic working group and provide his or her experience if they have on this field, because it's absolutely welcome to join to our thematic working groups. Not only for this, but another experts that are here on this virtual summit, that please, we are open to get more knowledge and people with interest in trying to organize new consortia, new projects, and try to promote our R&D in all of our Outermost regions and third countries for sure.
Yes, don't hesitate. Another question: could we get presentation slides materials through mail in PDF format, please? Yes, of course. I can put them on the website, and also I already put my email, but don't hesitate to send me email, and I will send you the presentation. But I will put the presentation on the website. Another question: what are the current developments in overcoming solar energy generation limitation in energy storage through battery life, extension and innovation? So what are the current developments in overcoming solar energy generation limitation in energy storage through battery life, extension and innovation? Perhaps Sarah could answer to this question regarding solar energy generation.
Yes, one of innovation is the use of combination between solar and hydrogen, and with the combustion battery and different EMS solution.
Okay. Is there anyone want
I also added something on. I wrote it
Yes,
in the chat, but also, well, I'm not an expert on energy, but I know a little bit about the topic, and sometimes we concentrate a lot in the technical part, which is very important. My background is engineering, so I agree with this, but we have to take into account other things as well. The bottleneck many times is not the technology, but could be the regulation, could be a business model behind, because if we do something at the end, it should be sustainable, not only from the environment point of view, but social and economic point of view. So it's complex. And the energy sector, Sarah should know better than me, is very complex and depends on the country and the place.
Yes.
If I can point out something about the solar energy, you know that in the Canary Islands, one of the problems we have is the water. We have almost no water in most of the islands. So we are trying to utilize, and the ITC it has a long expertise on this, to using solar energy for desalination. Okay, so there are many different projects on this regard that are very useful for isolated regions or isolated places where the water resources are also a limitation. So I think there are also expertise on this matter in the thematic working groups. So please.
Okay,
Yeah,
and sorry, go.
Sorry, Karine. Yes, I just wanted to say that yes, in the Outermost regions, we are well working on the energy subject, and I would like to emphasize the experimentations we are trying to have in La Réunion. In La Réunion, in the middle of La Réunion, we have remote places where researchers and businesses are developing smart and small grids in a very small areas where you have maybe 500 inhabitants only. So they are trying to see whether we could build something on this kind of system. So it's the place where you can have this kind of experimentation, the Outermost island.
Okay. And if you want also to have more details about some examples of research projects, you can go on our website also to see the projects in the different regions. At this time, there are no more questions. So I don't know if Anyone want to ask a question? Take the microphone or?
Karine, just that when the person asked whether the COVID-19 changes things, I think something nice happened. Actually, we were all feeling the remote ones before the crisis. And then suddenly everyone on the earth is feeling to be remote. It's like they are giving our perspective now from the Brussels offices and from Paris and everywhere. Everyone is feeling this remoteness. So now they are developing more remote working, and we are now accessing more easily events at EU level. So that's a good part of the crisis, but it's not the only part, unfortunately.
Yes, so now the remoteness is not, it does not concern only Outermost regions, but the planet, all the planet. Yes.
Exactly.
Another question, the Outermost regions being European territory is possible for non-EU member countries in the same region, like Maldives in Indian Ocean, to join EU-funded projects. Javier or Lucia, perhaps you can answer.
Yes, sure. The EU projects include are open to third countries. Some of them are specifically, there is a list of countries that can also receive even funding, but also they can all even participate without receiving funding from the EU, okay? But to be part of a consortium without funding is always open, okay? So this is there are different ways of collaboration. So if there are some initiative, please contact with us and we will try to direct you to the people in the Outermost regions that are much more relevant on these fields, or even try to make some kind of collaboration agreement or consortia with all of them.
Okay, and other question, moving from fossil fuel to solar panels to produce energy is somehow another dependency from importation. How do you address energy sobriety and isolation issues in R&D project? So I will give the answer. I will ask another time. I repeat. Moving from fossil fuel to solar panels to produce energy is somehow another dependency from importation. How do you address energy sobriety and isolation issues in R&D projects? Perhaps Sarah can answer.
Sorry. We don't work about that, or I don't very good understand the questions. What do you say with the energy sobriety and isolation?
Perhaps you can precise the question in order we can answer.
It's a great question. We shouldn't be changing a dependency for another dependency. This is right. We can rely on importation for the rest of our lives, for sure, but we won't be able to produce all we need in the island in a short time, for sure. In La Réunion, there are a technical center working on the building sector, the bioclimatic building sectors, which is working on this reduction of the energy consumption in the buildings. This is something we've been working on, and but we need to continue the R&D efforts in this sector too. You're right.
Yes, I guess the sector is future.
Really, actually, we are depending from gas importations. We are not producing fuel, we are not producing gas. So if we have to import solar panels, I think it's much more, let's say, sustainable in principle than to import gas or fuel. Or even if we try to use, for sure, the windmills or another sources such as hydrogen or another geothermal energy and so on. So by the end, we are trying to be as isolated regions. We try to be as much sovereign with our energy, but I totally agree with Evelyn that probably the efficiency in energy consumed less is one of the key points also to be much more sustainable, right?
Yes, Javier. Another question, can we talk about off-grid climate-proof food production as part of infrastructure, controlled environment, agriculture, aquaponics?
You mentioned aquaponics. I didn't hear the question. I am working on aquaponics. I can talk about something about that, but if I have a more clear question about, can you repeat the question?
Yes, I will repeat the question. Can we talk about off-grid climate-proof food production as part of infrastructure, control environment, agriculture, aquaponics?
Well, as I mentioned, probably it's not a question only for the Canary Islands, but probably for most of our outermost regions. We are working in similar fields on the primary sectors, both for fishing and also agriculture. And aquaponics is coming to stay, right? So aquaponics, as you know, is a way of joining agriculture with for example, aquaculture of producing fish, for example, can be done in conjunction with agriculture. So I know that there is a thematic working group specifically working on that in the Forward project, and they are trying to prepare a proposal for the next Horizon Europe program. So I'm sorry to repeat, but I suggest to try to contact or me or these guys to if you are interested on this matter, because there are a lot of interest in joining the two activities, the aquaculture and the agriculture, and also the production of plants without soil. I mean, with only water. It's something that is already done in many in different places around the world, but here, depending on the region, it's also an alternative, right? Canary Islands for this is quite limited, at least in fresh water. But for example, there are alternatives even for marine water, because we are thinking about agriculture for land, but we are thinking about also agriculture on the sea. We can produce algae, we can produce different halophytes that produce bioactive compounds with very high interest for pharmaceuticals. So there is a really large amount of questions we can address and projects that we can build in a future on this matter.
Okay. Just to precise, thank you, Javier. Just to precise for an answer for the previous question, that each funding program has its own list of third countries allowed to receive funding. I just wanted to precise that. So, are there any more questions? No. So I suggest we conclude. And to conclude, I give the latest word to speakers. Evelyn, what lesson can you give further to our debate?
I would like to thank everyone for participating in this meeting. We really think that the Outermost region can bring solutions to the remote areas challenges, and I would be very happy to get in touch with anyone who wants to talk about the public policies to foster research and innovation in small ecosystems. That's what I would like to say. Thank you, Karine, again for this opportunity for us.
Thank you, Evelyn. Lucia, your latest word?
Yes, well, I was just typing in the chat that we will be in the virtual forward panel now, right when we finish this meeting. So if you want to have a chat directly with a camera and in a virtual table, you can come. And also for those that, because I see there are many questions that are technical questions, more focused on energy, on agriculture, write us or join us. And if we are not the expert, because our case, some of us, we are not expert on a field, but we can forward you with the person that are in charge of these activities, and it's an opportunity to do it.
Okay, Lucia. Sarah, your latest word?
Yes, thank you, everybody. I was happy to see your presentation and share this with you, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Marc?
Oui, alors j'ai trouvé cet échange très, très fructueux. La participation à Islande Innovation permet aux régions ultrapériphériques d'ouvrir le cercle de connaissances et probablement le cercle de partenaires. Et c'est un peu l'objectif principal de Forward, c'est la mise en réseau. Donc, on avait déjà un réseau au niveau de Forward à travers les RUP, les régions ultrapériphériques. Et là, ça nous permet, à travers Islande Innovation, de faire une ouverture très, très intéressante au niveau des problématiques un peu plus larges des îles à l'échelle mondiale. Donc ça, c'est vraiment une première connexion qu'on a faite qui est fructueuse. Et moi, ce que je souhaite, c'est que ce soit un premier pas réalisé et que surtout, il y ait des partenariats nouveaux qui puissent se mettre en œuvre. Alors nous, au niveau Forward, il y a eu une méthodologie de repérage des types de partenaires, une méthodologie également pour analyser les thématiques prioritaires, ce qui va permettre aux partenaires en dehors des RUP de pouvoir mieux appréhender ce qui se passe à l'intérieur des RUP et de pouvoir concrétiser ces partenariats. Je vous remercie et j'espère qu'on pourra continuer.
Okay, thank you, Marc. The last word for Javier.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Karine and Marc, for this great initiative. As you know, as a leader of the networking work package, for me, it was a very nice opportunity to open the Forward networking to all the islands around the world. So regardless if we are outermost regions or not, most of us are isolated regions, are islands. So we share a very common vision as island people. And I hope this opportunity will serve for try to join new members to our consortia. And as Marc mentioned before, we are open and we have developed a specific methodology that we can apply even more than for the RUPs, for all the islands, and try to join and to do more projects together in the near future. So thank you very much for the initiative, and thank you for all the guys who ask and answer, all the panelists that from the members of the Forward team. I am really proud about all of the people who is working on Forward. So congrats to everyone.
Okay, thank you, Javier, and thank you all for your contributions, and thank you for your relevant questions. I saw you are joining from Aruba, Belgium, Scotland, and greetings. And have a look on the chat for the links to join us on for our social media and website. And now you can go also, as Lucia said, on our booth. Lucia and Jean-François will welcome to you for deepened discussions. Thank you, everyone. Have a